Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm going to do something special. I'm going to fly the Felis Tupolev-154. It is one of the most challenging but also one of the most rewarding airliners to fly here in X-Plane 11. It takes a little bit of studying and getting used to. It is unlike any other modern Western airliner. But once you can fly this plane from one airport to another, it is a really rewarding experience. And like I said, it's going to be a very special flight because we are rocking the retro Malev livery from the 1970s, also from for the ground handling as well. Textures are, by the way, really awesome. Links are going to be in the description as always. So Malev operated these planes from the early 1970s up until 2001, and the last revenue flight was Prague-Budapest-Prague actually. I think the airplane designated Lima Charlie November did that last flight, and on the next day there were a couple of celebratory and farewell flights, and Malev said goodbye to the Tupolevs. But this plane was really beloved by the pilots, especially they refer to it as the Big Iron. That's the nickname that they gave to this plane. It was a real powerhouse. Good old Soviet craftsmanship, comrade. It was designed solely for civilian purpose. The earlier Tupolev-134 was also designed for the military. Malev operated those as well, the 134s, and this plane was actually also designed to land and take off from shorter and smaller airports. You know, in Siberia and everywhere in the Soviet Union and its member states. And we can see it on the landing gear design. Looks really like something from Kerbal Space Program. And those three engines had a lot of thrust, but this plane consumed a lot of fuel. It was really noisy. So in 2001 Malev said goodbye. And actually Malev operated the 154 B2s, as we can see in the livery right here, but actually the Felis model here in X-Plane 11 is the M variant. The B2s had the Kuznetsov engines, but the M has the Soloviev D30 low turbofan engines. And they are a little bit more fuel efficient. Also there are a couple of changes, but by modern standards it still consumes 3 or even 4 times as much as a 737 NG. But you know, it's a really majestic plane and it's awesome here in X-Plane 11. So we are going to do a classic VOR to VOR flight for to Budapest, and this airplane is also a GPS system, GNS 430 and also KLN 90B, but I'm going to use just the VOR navigation, going really old school down to Budapest. We're going to cruise at flight level 290, and it's going to be a short flight here in the early evening from Prague. I already taken care of the loading of the aircraft. I'm going to go with 156 passengers. The airplane has a minimum required fuel load. I think it's 12,500. So we have that. It's a lot of fuel for this short trip. But anyway. We can go ahead and prepare this plane for takeoff. Alright, here we are in the cockpit. We have the typical Russian light greenish blue cockpit. In the Soviet Union it's really common. Yeah, they paid a lot of attention to cross-training. For example, when you come from a military machine, then the instrumentation looks similar. Not that much of a cross-training is required between different airplanes. So originally this airplane was operated by a crew of 4 in the Soviet Union. Malev flown it with 3 people, but occasionally also 4, so there was the captain, first officer, navigator, flight engineer, and sometimes there was also a flight mechanic on board. When this plane flew into airports which didn't have a maintenance facility, then the flight mechanic could do minor repairs, for example. So we also have a nice checklist here for this airplane with X checklist, but I'm going to do it by memory and a little different. Getting this plane ready is half the fun. So first things first, batteries, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I think external power is already right there. Yes, there we go, we can connect it. And now we have power. Now we can switch on the rectifiers and 1 and 2, converting AC power to DC for the batteries. And now PTS 250. Actually, before that we can switch on the nav lights. And go back to the flight engineer post. So rectifiers are on, PTS 250 is already on, so hydraulic system, pumps number 2 and 3 on, and system 2 and 3 are being pressurized. Now we can open also the crossfeed for system number 1. And it's increasing slowly. In the meantime, while we have power, switch on some of these systems. Not all of them are required, for example gyro heat. We have a nice summer evening, so VOR ILS HDI to magnetic. Actually, we don't really need GPS today, so I'm going to leave it off. RSCN for the NVU navigation, it's going to switch them on, although we are not going to use it. Also HF radio. And now we have power for the voice recorder. Switch it on, there we go. We can also test the lamps and horn. Nice stuff. So fire protection system, ice detection, and everywhere you can just check the lamps. If we really want to do a thorough job. So pressure, now we need to press this button, accumulator charge, and the emergency brake system is being pressurized. Going to need it to go above 2000 kilogram per cubic centimeter. Yeah, everything is in metric with this plane. And looks like we have the correct values here. And switch them off. They consume a lot of power. And now let's go back here. One of the nice features of old Russian aircraft is the fan right here. Hot summer days. So passenger signs. There we go. Also switch on the fan. And we can check out the nice livery here. Exit. And passenger signs are on. Put it to standby. Here ADF. I'm not going to tune an NDB today, don't really need it. Window heat. Put them to low. Pitot heat, we can test these guys. And switch them on. And Doppler power ground and NVU by DOP. There we have it. Now, really important step here is we need to get the latitude is 50. Go up here, put 50. Right there. And then we need to adjust all the HSIs and the compasses, magnetic, and adjust. Let's wait until HSI stops moving right there. There we go. And then go to reference, adjust it as well. And go back to directional gyro, main. Now on longer flights this step needs to be repeated also in the air. But it's going to be a short flight, so we can calibrate it right now. And should be alright. Let's see, magnetic compass is pointing towards 120. Yes. Looking alright. Fantastic. Now, let's open the AVI tab. We are in Prague. Local QNH is 1015. I can also switch between meters and feet here. There we go. 1015, and also here. .360. And I think we have also an altimeter here. Yeah, looks about 360. There we go. And in the meantime, I'm going to start the APU, so we don't waste any more time here.
Ground, start an APU. APU doors are open, starting area is clear.
And get rid of these things. And start the APU. Monitor these instruments right there. And APU is starting. Meantime, go to the AVI tab. And let's check out the departure. We're going to use the Vozice 3B. We're going to depart runway 30 and track 303. So I'm going to put 303 is already in there, and yes, we have 303. Later I need to verify this as well, and we have this VOR station 112.60. We have already here in the second nav radio, so we get DME reading right there. I'm going to switch it over to miles, because I did the flight plan with SimBrief and SkyVector. So switch these guys over to miles. And we get a random transponder code right there. Next VOR we're going to go is going to be the Vozice VOR somewhere down here, and going to track the radial 114, so 116.95. There we have it on nav radio 1. And here VOR 1 and VOR 2 course is 114 already set. Now nav, needles, roll, pitch, NVU power, there we go. Also here, auto thrust system, I'm not going to use any of it. It's notoriously inaccurate and unreliable, so pilots did not use it. And now we have APU up and running. So let's make sure. Oh, come on. Click the wrong button there. But now we have APU power. And let's see. Restart these systems. ABSU, which is the autopilot.
Engage in autopilot.
Test it. And once more, recycle it. Let's make sure ABSU is ready. Yeah. And now we can open the air bleed valve. The switch needs to be in the up position until ready starlight extinguishes. There we go. Switch on the beacon light. And we are soon ready for pushback and engine start actually. So let's just call the pushback truck.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, ground power, remove it, gear blocks as well. And start the pushback.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
We could also start the engines right here from this position, but I don't want to crash into these carts right there, so we're going to push back nice and easy. We could also set the air conditioning for the
Okay,
AP bleed.
all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
But I'm not going to bother that. We're going to start the engine soon and switch on the pressurization. Yeah, the technology is a little bit outdated. Flight engineer needed to adjust constantly. For example, when the pilots took away a little bit of thrust from the engines, or when the flight engineer did that, he needed to also adjust the pressurization because they could feel it in the cabin and also in the cockpit. Well, when all of a sudden they retarded the throttles. Now it's all done automatically, but back in the day...
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
It needed a little bit of fine-tuning. So fuel pumps, tank 4 has no fuel in it. And now we can go ahead and push back.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Now the step setting is really important in this airplane, depending on the loading. Now we are using the center, but if it's set incorrectly, then the airplane will fall out of the sky. Air pressure.
Ground, check before start. Blocks removed, doors and hatches are closed, grounding, cups and tail rod removed, ready for start.
And now we have pressure for engine start. Let it stabilize. Okay, pushback completed, hand signal will be on the left. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start the engines. I'm going to need these fuel pumps as well, service tank 1 for engine start. And there's the hand signal, taxi. And here we have everything we need.
Clear the engines, starting engine 1.
Starting engine 1.
Got it, starting 1.
Monitor those instruments right there. The engine is up and running. Check it by switching this switch to the down position and then connect it to the main bus. There we go. Now engine number 2 can start.
Starting engine 2. Got it, starting 2.
So in the meantime, before I forget, switch this on. We are waiting for the ready light. And this one to TARA. Engine 2 is running, so let's check it. And connect it. Light comes off, there we go, and engine number 3.
Starting engine 3. Got it, starting 3.
Oh, not that one.
Engine started. Engine started, okay.
Okay, engines started okay. Alright, connected.
Generators connected to the main bus.
Fantastic.
Turn on systems. Ground. Engines running. Flight controls checked. Switch to visual control. Over. Disconnected. Have a good flight.
Close the air bleed valve. There we go, and shut down the APU. PTS 250 is also off. Close this one, and here air bleed valves. Now both of these switches need to be held in the up position until sufficient airflow is reached. There we go, and put these switches to auto for the air conditioning. And go with a comfortable 22 degrees. Alright. Anti-ice is not required. Eye detection is on. Fire protection system is on. ABSU has power. And here everything is set correctly. And do we have the ready light? Yes. Switch it to Meteo. TCAS is on. And we are ready to taxi to our runway 30. Actually, let's set the flaps.
Flaps extending.
For
Flaps
takeoff.
extending. Stabilizer moving. Flaps 28. Stabilizer -1.5. Slots extended.
And I'm going to switch off these fans right now. And radios are set actually. And we can go ahead and taxi.
Turn 63 is on. Right side clear, ready for taxi.
Now we need to
Left
hit
and forward clear,
the
attention,
hydraulic
starting taxi.
boosters as well.
Check brakes.
And I do need to put 29,000 feet as our target altitude. 5,000 feet is the local transition altitude though, so 29,000 is set. Check the braking.
Brakes check, okay.
Okay. And we are taxiing, nice and easy. So for takeoff, we're going to set a thrust of 93% N1 and climb nice and easy. Takeoff speeds, flaps 28, 360. But Felis is nice enough to call out those speeds, and when I need to retract flaps as well. Yeah, this plane all in all is a fantastic product, and it's still being updated. Right now I'm running the 11.50 beta 14, and update came out recently. So alright, now initial climb is going to be 303, then 213, then 157, and then we're going on the radial of 114 for the Vozice VOR, and then go for a while, tune in the Nitra VOR, and then need to be monitoring airspeed constantly, and also top of descent point, and basically it's going to be a high workload flight, doing a job for 3 people in the cockpit, but we're going to fly to Budapest. And actually I'm going to enable my track IR for takeoff, so we can look around in the cockpit. So that, not ready for takeoff, light should extinguish once we switch this wheel steer to 10 degrees. And once we have taken off, 5,000 feet is going to be the local transition altitude. Then I'm going to switch autopilot on, and this course mode, maintain 303 for a while until 10 DME right here. Make a left turn. There are a couple of airplanes right there as well. And we are using the standard flaps 28 takeoff. And now we are crossing the one runway, but I think that runway is inactive, yeah. There are the 737s sitting right there, so let's make sure left clear. Oops, right side clear. Now everything is in kilometer per hour. Well, the speed indication is. But here we have feet on the one of the altimeters. On the right side for the first officer is still in kilometers. And I'm going to switch it. Right there. Do need the other switch in the up position. There we go. Also require a little bit of braking action to slow us down. Alright, everything is set for takeoff. Step setting correct, flaps 28. Oh, there. Okay. What is happening right there? Almost crashed into those 737s KLM. I thought this airport didn't have a work traffic tree routing. But anyway, so now we are ready for takeoff. Nav radios are set, and here we go. Set takeoff thrust.
Pass-through valves are closed. Takeoff thrust, hold throttles, landing lights on. Takeoff thrust, parameters normal, holding thrusters.
Parameters normal, thank you. And try to stay...
Speed alive. $200. V1. Rotate.
Yeah, nice and easy. Rotate.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Positive rate, gear up.
Gear going up. Altitude 50. Turn off and remove the lights.
Turn off and remove lights.
Landing gear up.
Landing gear. Neutral position. Now maintain that climb angle. And let's just go down here.
Engage in autopilot.
And course. Maintain 303.
330. Flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
Flaps retracting.
And then just going to disable track IR for now.
Speed 360. Flaps up. Flaps 15. Flaps retracting. Stabilizer moving. Slats retracting.
Okay, and let's increase climb rate a little bit.
Flaps and slats are removed. Stabilizer 0. Set gear level neutral. Gear handle neutral.
And DME is increasing. Keep an eye on the thrust. Okay, let's try not to go into overspeed mode. This airplane has a lot of power. And actually I should have set 1013. There and also here.
Pressure 10-13 set.
And now we can go to 213. Or 217 actually. Climb rate. Still a little bit. Well, actually, 2000 feet per minute, not that bad. VOR, we need to be on the 114 radio. So let's tune in here as well, 114. There we go. Let's make sure we have the correct Vozice, 116.95. There we go. And here as well, 114. And let's go to VOR1. Now the airplane will intercept the 114 radial. Still climbing, airspeed looks normal. And once we reach 29,000 feet, we're going to intercept that altitude, pushing this button. And maybe a little bit of adjustment will be needed, but airspeed, now we have to keep an eye on that one. And also, once we reach cruise, then we are going to go to 0.8. In the meantime, for the second nav radio, I can tune in the Nitra VOR, which is going to be 116.5. We don't have a DME reading yet, we are not in range. But we are on our way to Budapest. Now from this VR station, when we reach Vozice, still 40 nautical miles away, then we are going to go to a heading of 118 for 96 nautical miles. Well, actually, at halfway I'm going to switch over to the Nitra VOR and then go on the radial of 128. I also need to remember when we are approximately 10 nautical miles or a little bit closer and we are passing over the VOR, then switch over to course mode, because this signal is going to be bouncing a little bit and the airplane will try to intercept the signal. Actually, I can also switch over from ADF to VOR because the needles are searching for an NDB. But now we are VOR, looks alright. Still no DME indication, but we are looking nice here. This plane is a beauty, absolutely. I was going to leave the passenger signs. And we are going on the radial 114. Still 20 nautical miles away. And right now we are on course. A little bit of a turbulence en route, but anyway. Looks like the airplane is stabilizing here. And 1000 feet to go soon, or 500, 29,000 is our cruising altitude. And keep an eye on that speed. I'm gonna increase it a little bit so we can intercept that altitude and also speed up to 0.8. And here we go. Airplane is going to oscillate a little bit, but it's going to maintain altitude of 29,000 feet. Maybe I need to adjust it manually a little bit, but I think it should stabilize at 29,000 feet soon. So I'm going to switch over to course mode once we fly over the VOR station. Going to put it back to VOR 1. Fly for about 15 nautical miles on this DME, and we have the other DME indication for the Nitra VOR 153, so still a long way to go. At 50 DME, then going to go to 118, and then once it hits about 70 nautical miles, I'm going to switch over and then go on. I think we have to be at 160 on the radio 160 and then fly down to Budapest and then make a 180, intercept the ILS into runway 31 right. And looks like we are maintaining this. Yeah, here we are flying over the VOR. if I leave the autopilot on maintaining the VOR, then this signal is bouncing around a little bit and the airplane will try to maintain it, so we are flying stable right now. Alright, so we are approaching Nitra, right here. VOR station is somewhere here. DMA indicating 76 and counting down. So we can switch over. We're going to go on course 126 from that VOR station, so let's go course. So we are maintaining the current heading. And tune in nav radio 116.5. There we go. And 128 here as well. Set it here. Once it's beginning to move a little bit, then I'm going to switch it over to VOR1. And from Nitra we're going to initiate our descent, nice and easy. Go down to 3000 feet here into Budapest, tune in the nav radios for the ILS, make a 180, and land at the airport 31 right. Transition altitude is 5000, so need to keep in mind that we need to set the local QNH. But so far we are flying quite nice. Also need to keep an eye on the speed. Don't really want to exceed 0.8. 128. And it got really bright in the cockpit. The sun is coming from behind. But yeah, so far so good. So we are descending, nice and easy. I already tuned in the Monor VOR, which is in the vicinity of the airport. A little bit farther away, maybe we are going to need a little bit of speed brakes to descend and not speed up too much. So now we can go. Open the AVI tab, and transition altitude is going to be 10,000. I said 5,000 earlier, so that was incorrect. And I'm going to tune in 308 already. We are in course mode, so it's going to be for the ILS, final course, 308. 109.5. There we go. The DME 40 nautical miles to the airport, and there is our little airplane. And how's the speed looking? Actually, throttles have gone back to idle. And we are descending, nice and easy, beautiful evening approach here. Already in course mode, like I said, also set 308 here. And we can check out here. Landing speed flap 45, and it's going to be 259 kilometers per hour. And actually going quite fast. Maybe I'm going to extend speed brakes if we need to lose speed and altitude. But then go back to the AVI tab. Three one right, yes, we are going down here. And then here to Nikra at 4000, do a right turn and another right turn, intercept the localizer, and then the glide slope. Also going to push this or switch landing prepare on. And later with this approach and glide slope button. But we're going to land manually. And speed is increasing, so I'm going to monitor it. And then I'll be back when we are intercepting the glide slope. Alright, we are making our final turn towards the runway. Actually, let's descend a little bit and lose speed. And here's the localizer. Beautiful evening approach here. And there is the runway. Okay, let's see. Needles on the approach. 308. 308 as well here. 31 left. Should be intercepting it soon. At least the localizer. Glide slope is indicator is there. let's lose a little bit of speed. And then extend flaps gradually. 300 km per hour. There we go. And extend landing gear. So flaps, we can extend flaps
extending.
Gradually.
Slots extending.
Also going to arm the
moving.
glide slope mode. And flaps are down. Approach speed is 259.
Flaps 45.
Somewhere around here.
Stabilizer -3. Slots extended.
And we're looking good actually for landing on the glide slope and localizer. Intercepted. Fantastic. Keep an eye on the speed. Yes, yes, yes. Maintain speed, actually add a little bit of power and try to keep it in the zone here. Gear is down. Whoa, we're losing significant amount of speed and a little bit of power. It takes a little bit of time until these engines are spooled up. As the old adage goes, never take an airplane somewhere where your mind hasn't been 5 minutes before. That's especially true with these older aircraft. So let's stay a little bit fast. But yeah, I think automatically the speed brakes will be extended. We have a nice enough co-pilot that does that. And maintain that speed.
1000.
Beautiful evening right here.
$500.
And now we're back on course, a little bit fast though, so reduce speed.
Sync rate.
Yes, sync rate.
Okay,
Pull up. Pull up. Glide slope.
And we are back on track.
50.
10 meters. 5, 3, 2, 1 meter.
Great landing, reverse.
Spoilers up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Budapest with the Tupolev-154. Amazing plane.
Turn off reverse.
Oh, all of a sudden, a little bit of rain. And braking. Slow it down.
Flaps retracting. Stabilizer moving. Slush retracting. Flaps and slush are removed. Stabilizer 0.
And let's just taxi to the terminal.
Remove flaps and landing lights. Turn on taxi lights.
Yeah, they are already... those steps are already done, actually. We need
Turn 63 is on.
63 here. Help us move. And it's a nostalgic sight for a Tupolev. Going into Budapest again. And it was a fantastic flight. I enjoyed it a lot. Still need a little bit of practice though with this airplane. And then we are going to stop here. And stop.
Parking brake on. Turn off systems and engines.
Well, where did the yoke go? I think it's Shift F9, yeah? There we go. I'm going to start the APU. Alright, APU is connected, and now we can shut off the engines. I'm not sure if it's the correct procedure, but so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Budapest. It was a really fun flight with the Tupolev-154. A little bit of nostalgia, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and in the meantime take care and stay healthy.
$50.